Most people regret moving in the winter, and you know what? It's not because of the snow. It's because they forgot to plan for 5 key things that can derail everything, from school transfers to home negotiations. And one of them, a winter market mistake that can cost you thousands, especially when you're relocating on such a tight timeline. Now, if you're moving to West Denver, you've got a new job, a family, and not a lot of time to figure it all out, well, this video is going to help you move smart, move fast, and without the stress that most people face when they're feeling rushed. And I've seen people hit unexpected delays, get overwhelmed by logistics, or sometimes they end up in a neighborhood that doesn't match their life. But I've also helped busy professionals, especially families that move in the winter and they actually come out ahead. You're going to learn 5 things that will help you avoid common mistakes and make a smart move to West Denver. And this is whether you're headed to Littleton, Lakewood, Golden, or Arvada. Oh, sure, it snows here, but in West Denver, snow rarely sticks around for too long. The Denver metro area gets over 300 days of sunshine a year, and even in winter, that sun helps melt the snow fast after most snowstorms, only after a couple days. In fact, Denver averages only about 16 days a year with more than an inch of new snow. In cities like Lakewood and Littleton, well, they keep the roads plowed, schools pretty much stay open, and you know what? Movers still show up. What matters is planning ahead and working with local vendors who know how to keep things moving, snow or no snow. And I also work with inspectors, movers, and contractors who've done this hundreds of times. They're not rescheduling because of a little weather. And if you're moving from somewhere warmer, don't worry, Colorado winters aren't what most people expect or see on the TV. It's all about sunshine, layers, and timing. Now, most people think that winter means slim pickings when it comes to your home search, but that's not always true. And winter buyers often have more power. The mistake that I see over and over is people are just assuming there's no inventory, so they wait, or they rush into the first available home without negotiating. That's where buyers lose thousands. They either miss their window or they're going to skip due diligence because they feel like they have no options. Well, you know what the truth is? Sellers who list in the winter are often serious and motivated. And you might find more flexibility in price, closing dates, or repairs if you know what to look for and move quickly but smart. Now, I had a couple relocating for work who assumed that they'd have no leverage, but the home they loved had been on the market since late fall. We negotiated a price cut and a timeline that worked with their relocation. You know what? The less competition they had gave them space to think, and the seller was happy to work with someone who was a serious buyer. And don't forget, the neighborhood you choose matters just as much as the house. Are you commuting to downtown or are you working from home? Do you want trails out your back door or are you looking for walkable coffee shops and parks? West Denver certainly gives you options. And don't forget, Littleton is quiet, suburban, and close to open space. You've got Lakewood, blends access with community and convenience to downtown. Golden gives you that mountain town vibe with quick highway access. And Arvada is going to offer you a sweet spot between affordability and location. Now remember, this isn't about chasing trends, it's about your real daily life. And if you're trying to make sense of these areas, go back and watch my video called Don't Relocate to Colorado Until You Know This About West Denver. It's going to break down commute times, school access, and cost of living so that you can match it to your lifestyle. All right, now let's talk about something important if you're relocating with children. Let's talk about school enrollment, because if you're moving with a family, one of your first questions is probably about schools. Mid-year enrollment can feel so overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. You don't need to have all the answers, but I do encourage you to start early. Call the school district, ask what paperwork that they're going to need, confirm space in your kid's grade, and I want you to check how transportation works. Now, one family I worked with had less than a month to move before the semester had started. They were worried that their children wouldn't get placed, but they contacted the district before they moved. They got the paperwork in order, and by closing day, the kids were registered and they even had their bus route assigned. Tight timeline, right? But totally doable with a plan. Now, one of the biggest myths is that moving in the winter are harder or riskier. Sure, if you're short on time and juggling a full schedule, it can certainly feel like a lot. But with the right strategy, winter might actually be your best chance at a fast, smart move. Now, why? Well, less buyer competition, more motivated sellers, more availability for movers and inspectors. And you know what? That means fewer delays, faster closings, and more room to negotiate, especially if you're on a tight deadline. And you don't have to do everything perfectly. Just avoid the mistakes and have a clear plan. And if we haven't met, I'm Nicole, and I help busy professionals and families relocate to West Denver with clarity and confidence. And if you found that this video helped, you can hit like or drop a comment with what city you're considering, and I'd love to help and have a conversation. And remember, snow is not the deal breaker that people think it is. Winter listings can actually give you leverage. Your neighborhood should match how you actually live. School enrollment is totally doable, and winter moves can be strategic, especially if you're on a short timeline. But if you're just starting, or if you're racing the clock before your start date, go back and watch Don't Relocate to Colorado until you know this about West Denver. It'll save you time and will help you avoid the wrong turns and give you a framework for making smart, fast decisions. Until then, remember, life is short. Live somewhere awesome and be well. We'll see you next time.